So for the tailored placket for this class, we are going to be doing a left and a right. So you're going to put the right side of the pattern piece face down onto the wrong side. On one of the squares, you're going to have the small side next to the seam. Give yourself a little ½ inch away to get started. And the same thing here, just reverse it. Now I've pre-pressed this so that it's able to be manipulated better when I get to that part. But once I have this situated, I have given myself a slit where that line is on the pattern. I think I put a punch hole on the new patterns I just made. And you're going to stitch 1/4 inch around the slit. So we'll start. You can pin that into place if it helps. And the reason I'm using the printed material is so that it's visual. If your fabric is the same looking, just make sure that you have the right side to the wrong side, because sometimes when they look the same both sides, they really aren't. Just be sure that you've got them that way. And then I'm going to come down on the opposite side 1/4 inch. And then I can slit this open on the actual garment. Maybe X into the edges a little bit to make it easier. Okay, now I can bring this out. So this is the back of my sleeve, this is the front of my sleeve. And you want to get this to lay nice and smooth. And you're going to fold this piece up and over onto the seam allowance, not onto the garment, but onto the seam allowance, just like we did with bias. And edge stitch this into place. And if you want to stitch the other side for decorative, you can. It doesn't have a function. I'm going to leave it alone. Now I'm going to take this side and fold in. I've already pressed in the little house, and that's going to come up and over like so. And again, you're going to stitch this folded edge right on top of the seam. Cover the stitch, but not completely onto the garment. Edge stitch that into place. Now, when you do this, this little bit of excess that's on your bottom piece gets tucked underneath this as you're stitching. So when you get to the top, you want to try and clean that up. And just take your time with it and get it nice and neat. And I'm going to, I don't know if I did this the last time, and again, every person that does a video on YouTube and every set of instructions is going to be a tiny bit different. But I'm going to, in order to catch this, I'm going to go across this before I try and do my house. I think it's going to give me a little bit better control. So I have that on the outside. And line it up. And then I can do this part at the top, which is the more difficult part of sewing, is getting this to lay flat and nice for you. So you can pre-press it so it stays. I've actually taught this before where we double it and turn it like already a finished tab. That's another method, but not with this pattern. And it's not cheating to use the hand if it gets you the desired result. So you'll do the same thing in reverse on that one, on the other side. And then I also like to, when I'm doing this kind of a tab, I like to do this cross stitch. So I'll go across here just for decoration. Sometimes for utility, if it's something like heavy duty and you just really want to reinforce it. And then once I get there, I can lift this up and away, and then I can top stitch down this other side. Okay, and the reason I'd like you guys to do, a couple of stitches I got to get rid of there, but the reason I want you to do this left and right is so that when we get our, yeah, I probably should have lifted the needle away from that, but I got a stitch or two to remove there. So